Do you want an amazing marriage? Are you ready to take your marriage to the next level? Then stick around for Your Marriage Matters podcast with marriage coach Lynn. Let's put some fun and sizzle into your relationship.
Welcome to another series here at the Your Marriage Matters podcast. This next series will consist of 6 episodes and is titled Emotional Fidelity. We will talk about the importance of creating an emotionally healthy environment within your marriage. If you've been listening to this podcast, you're familiar with many things you can do to build a solid and thriving marriage. We're going to delve in a little deeper from the emotional angle. We will start this series with describing some of those emotional needs and how to identify and respond to those needs within your marriage, including responding to your partner and recognizing your emotional needs and how to deal with those. This is not simply discovering needs and responding. It's not that simple. We will work on awareness today. Next week, we will go into emotional health, and I have a great book to recommend, so don't miss next week's podcast. The third episode in this series, titled Emotional Fidelity, is going to be about preventing emotional infidelity. We need to arm ourselves against the many sneaky and subtle things that creep into marriages. You won't want to miss that. In fact, if you haven't subscribed, you won't miss any episodes. The fourth part in this 6-part series is on pornography. Yes, I have to cover that topic. A huge threat to emotional fidelity is pornography. Your marriage might not have this in it, but one day you'll probably come across friends or acquaintances who struggle with this. The last 3 parts of the Emotional Fidelity series deal with emotional infidelity. As I just said, we will cover pornography. The next episode after that, episode number 41, is titled Monogamy. Are we kidding ourselves? And finally, episode number 42, which will be released on December 3rd, is Recovering from the Shock of Infidelity, Endurance, Patience, and Rebuilding Trust. I consider it my mission in life to help couples create a climate within marriage that will prevent against an emotional affair. I'm going to provide a few lists today. If you want to take notes, feel free to do so, but I'm going to post a few lists on my website for you to refer to. Today, we'll talk about Dr. Willard Harley's 10 most common emotional needs and love busters that can threaten marriage and drive one or more partners to an emotional affair. We will also discuss 10 rules for avoiding emotional infidelity as proposed by author M. Gary Newman of emotionalinfidelity.com. Gary Newman is also the author of several books, 2 of which include Emotional Infidelity and The Truth About Cheating. Today's show is about trying to improve your marriage by identifying and satisfying emotional needs within the husband and wife relationship. Not all emotional affairs occur because things are going poorly in marriage. Counselors and the society at large tend to think that if you have a strong marriage, you are immune to an emotional affair. People think a weak marriage means that one or both partners might look elsewhere. Even in strong marriages, however, emotional affairs can develop and sometimes flourish. The reason could be that it's uplifting when others give us attention or affection. Charming people are appealing and flattering. Your marriage may be fine. It's not that things are bad in your marriage. It's just that there's more opportunity and attractive people out there who may arouse an interest or response in you. I'd like to read a list that author Gary Newman provides at the beginning of his book titled Emotional Infidelity. 10 Rules for Avoiding Emotional Infidelity. I'll read the list and then offer a brief discussion to clarify where I have slight disagreements. Here's his list. 1. Keep it all business at the office. 2. Avoid meetings with members of the opposite sex outside of the workplace. 3. Meet in groups. 4. Find polite ways of ending personal conversations. 5. Avoid consistency in the relationship. 6. Don't share your personal feelings. 7. Be unflinchingly honest with yourself. 8. Avoid cordial kisses and hugs or dancing with members of the opposite sex. 9. Don't drink around the opposite sex. 10. Show your commitment to your spouse daily. So I want to discuss like a few examples. Some of these are very harsh as far as don't drink around the opposite sex. Well, I believe that once in a great while, you can have maybe one drink. Keep it at 45 minutes after work, an after work party, one drink, go home, go your separate ways. The thing about a lot of these directives is that you have to have boundaries and not breach boundaries and not put yourself into a situation of temptation. I don't think you should avoid meetings with members of the opposite sex outside of the workplace. I think that after work, I think men and women socialize with each other, and you just need to have strict boundaries and not breach those boundaries. But overall, this is a pretty good list. I like it. And what about you're involved in a running club or you're an athlete? Men and women might sweat together and be in short shorts and they run. And I think that's fine. You just, again, you must keep it. And you can have some small talk and you can share some personal feelings, but again, boundaries are important. So we'll talk more about emotional affairs in a future episode, but I want to describe the anatomy of an affair to show you that you need to prevent against something like this from happening in your relationship. So here's kind of an example that is pretty standard. First, you start out as friends or professional associates. You're happy with your spouse and you aren't looking for anything. Then maybe you spend more time talking and the conversation gets increasingly more personal. A more intimate friendship blossoms. Then the attraction kicks in to a higher level and you begin sharing more than what you know you should. Things can progress to a higher level. You've taken baby steps that could lead to something that is inappropriate and messy. Even singles in the workplace develop relationships. But just imagine a breakup that is awkward, and especially if you both continue working in the same office or business. You must be very careful with workplace relationships or organizational relationships. Yes, many couples, they do meet their husband or wife in the workplace, and I think that's great. But you need to know the risks and challenges workplace romance involves, especially the subordinate and superior. You know who's going to lose out often? The subordinate will often, after a breakup, will probably be finding a new job. You probably suspected in this example what the slippery slope situation was. It was that they got closer and closer and shared more personal information. Men and women can be friends in the workplace, but you just, again, have to have those boundaries and not share too much personal information. 10 secrets to a great relationship. Here's another list. Commitment is the glue of marriage. Insulate and protect your marriage against emotional infidelity by avoiding friendships with the opposite sex. And again, I would say avoiding intimate friendships. Number 2, codependence is a necessary ingredient for a great marriage. Spouses must need each other. 3, spouses need clear, realistic goals and a specific plan of how to achieve those goals. Like any strong working partnership, marriage needs well-defined roles for each spouse. 5, acceptance is about appreciating, not settling. 6, your marriage has to come first, before jobs, kids, anything else. Your unconscious assumptions are holding you back from putting in the effort. 7, Your childhood has a great deal to do with your ability to enjoy a great marriage. The more you understand this connection, the better marriage you will have. 8. Great sex comes not from great sexual skill, but from sharing your deepest, shyest self while trusting your partner. 9. Your marriage comes before your child, but your child is one of your best tools for creating a great marriage. 10. Time is on your side. A great marriage has many stages and takes years to develop properly. 11. Bonus. Focus energy on creating a healthy relationship with your spouse's parents. What are some love busters? We've talked about those before, and I have some good resources on my website. Let's go ahead and mention them again. They include angry outbursts, disrespectful judgments, annoying behavior, selfish demands, and dishonesty. If love busters dominate a relationship, the spouses do not want to meet the needs or even have needs met. Couples give up and break away from each other. Check your behavior to see if you are guilty of love busters and work on reinventing yourself. Here is a brief list of emotional needs most of us have: affection, sexual fulfillment, conversation, recreational companionship, honesty and openness, physical attractiveness, domestic support, financial support, family commitment, admiration. To keep strong emotional health in your marriage, pay attention to affection, admiration, validation, respect, and honesty. This week, take a good look at how you both are meeting each other's needs. Check out the resources on my website for additional boost in creating a strong emotional climate within your marriage. I'm available for coaching. Feel free to review the various coaching packages. They make a great gift, and just a few sessions will get you on the right track. As always, love your spouse and make your marriage great.